king. He is my one. Yes, he's my father. Yes, he's my son. I can talk to him cause he understands everything I go through and everything I am. He's my support system. I can't live without him. The best thing since sliced bread.
And of course, that's Angie Stone. Yes. My name is Melina Abdullah, and we are on This Is Not a Drill with Baba Keeley in the co host chair. We're going to actually expand our headlines conversation. Jayden Bridges' mom is not going to be able to join us this morning. So we're going to extend our conversation about these headlines, which we need that time to talk about these headlines. We're going to dive especially into that order. We're going to talk about Zionism, which is plaguing the planet and has impacts when people ask, why do we keep saying free Palestine? What's that have to do with Black people? Well, I want you to remember what happens when you send billions of dollars to arm Israel, right? We stand up for Palestinians because it's right, but there's also a connection here, an immediate connection. When you're spending billions of dollars to arm Israel, what are you not spending on? You're not spending to house our folks. You're not spending to feed our folks. And I want us to talk about that. I want us to talk about what a $300 million ballroom at the White House in the midst of a government shutdown while they talking about taking away SNAP benefits. People not going to have food starting next week, y'all. Starting next week. What that means. So anytime you spend, this is basic budgeting. I'm not a money person, but budgeting 101, I am a single mama. Budgeting 101 is if you spend in one area, that means you don't have the money to spend in another area. So if you're spending billions of dollars to arm Israel, you don't have those billions of dollars that could be used. And if you look at the military budget is so large that we could house everybody, feed everybody, provide universal health care, quality universal health care, and free higher education for all if we reallocated those resources. So those are all really, really important things. And we're going to talk about why the Zionists are coming for our necks, because they don't want us to say that, because they want to keep stealing money out of your pockets and my pockets. They want to keep arming Israel and steal Palestine, which Baba Keeley, I thought that was a really important point that you made at the demonstration yesterday. Palestine predates the 77 years that Israel has cordoned off that area and claimed it for themselves, right? Israel is only 77 years young, same age as you, Baba Keeley. And so I think that's a really important point. We're going to hop into that conversation. You're welcome to join us at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. And I think we have someone on the line right now. Do we? No. Okay. So Baba Keeley, I would love your feedback on that.
I think, first of all, Melina, if you would, offer us an understanding of what Zionism is. Because what's happening is people have conflated Zionism with Judaism. And if you raise a question about Zionism, the perception is you're attacking Jews. So what is Zionism?
Yes, Zionism, I would argue, actually counters Judaism, right? Runs counter to the real principles of Judaism. Judaism is a religion. It's a faith that's based in peace. It's a faith that's based in love. It's a faith that's based in all of the principles that all of the major religions are based in, right? Judaism is really, really beautiful. And my understanding of Judaism has really deepened with our pro-Palestinian stance. I had never been to a Seder. I'd never been to those kinds of things, a Shabbat. I'd never been to that until we started organizing with Jewish Voice for Peace. It's a really beautiful religion. There's song, there's community, and there's love that's really at the core of Judaism. What Zionism is and I want to be very clear, I'm not Jewish and I don't have a really deep understanding. That's not what I study. but I'm grateful to my Jewish friends for helping to orient me and ground me in some Judaism, right? So grateful to people like Rabbi Heather Miller, like uh, Rabbi Aryeh Cohen, and many others who've helped us to understand Judaism as this beautiful religion. Zionism is the opposite. It is a hateful, greedy, genocidal political positioning. It really, and maybe most of our listeners will understand, Zionism is based on the concept that we would call manifest destiny, right? That just like the white settlers claimed that they had a right to American land and the right to genocide the indigenous people of this land and claim it for themselves. Israelis have said that they have the right to genocide Palestinians and take the land of Palestine and claim it for themselves, whatever they have to do it. That's what Zionism is. We, as African people, as moral people, say no, that is wrong. You don't get to kill people because you want their land. You don't get to separate families because you want to expand your fortune. And that's what Zionism seeks to do. It seeks to steal the land, the trees, the ocean away from the Palestinians who have been on that land for time immemorial. That's something else I never say, for time immemorial. So that is what Zionism is. So we are staunchly, I am, and I'm speaking for myself. People keep saying I should speak in more I statements. I am staunchly anti-Zionist, and I have deep, deep love for my righteous, justice-loving Jewish comrades and friends. Speaking of which, I think we got Brother Mikael, the Hebrew Israelite, calling in. Brother Mikael, maybe you can help us with this.
Shalom. What's going on? How y'all doing today? I want to say this. The original Jews is a subword for Judah. Negroes are the original Jews. We are the people of Israel. These white people went there in 1948 to steal our heritage, our name, or what's it called, stolen legacy. But we are, it said Judah or Jews went into slavery 400 years. White people didn't do that. It says they were black. Songs of Solomon 1 and 5, King Solomon said, I am black, in the King James Version Bible. Our history was stolen. We are from Israel. I hate to say we're not the same as the tribes of Africans. You know, we are 12 tribes of Israel. Black Indians here in America is Israel. But we have to take our punishment of this 400 years, and we get ready to come out. So they go over there and claim that, want to take that. But it's not true. Our skin, black people's skin, adjusts to nature. There's white people, their skin, they get a disease called melanoma and sunburns, and they don't adjust to nature. We are the original Jews. I'm an Israelite. My father is Judah, and my mother is Gad, a black Indian tribe here in America. You know, so they want to cover it up, and that war is going to happen, and you can't stop it. It's going to get worse and worse, and we are going to go back home over there after this captivity. Here in America, we're going to go back and claim our homeland, but the whole world belongs to us.
Thank you for calling in and offering that explanation, Brother Mikael. I am wondering, so we were out at Taste of Soul on Saturday, and there were hundreds of brothers in purple shirts. Is that the same Hebrew Israelites that you're a part of?
No, they're Hebrew Israelites. But see, we got to understand, when we was even in slavery, Cornel West, I heard him say on his show before that 90 years of slavery, of captivity, we did not have the Bible. So these Hebrew Israelites on the street, they're good people now. You know, they go by the New Testament, the white race added the New Testament to the Bible, to the original Tanakh, the Old Testament, as our history book to throw us off into a new religion called Christianity. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not a Christian. Christianity was for slavery, to turn your cheek and love your enemy. Those are good people, and I got into it with them peacefully at Taste the Soul, and they couldn't answer me. Three people came at me, and they each backed off and didn't want to hear me no more because I'm telling them peacefully, respectfully. They peacefully, respectfully too, except they couldn't take that the New Testament is a fake book. Ain't nobody died for your sins. That's a myth. That's a mythology. So I guess I can go kill somebody, and Jesus is going to pay for it. We went into slavery for our sins. Where was he at?
Thank you for that explanation, Brother Mikael. And I think that I love what you said, that they are good people, right? That I do think that there's some benefit clearly if so many young Black men are joining in, and it seems that they're moving things in a constructive way. I don't know much about them. Then clearly there's something there. But I think the major point that you're raising, because I want to get back to the question, I can go down some roads sometimes, is that Zionism and Judaism are two different things, right? And maybe we need to deepen our understanding of what Judaism is. So thank you for helping us to understand a bit. I think you're also pointing to a distinction that the Zionists in Israel do not care about Black Jews, right? Zionists in Israel, they've not been protecting Black Jews. They've been ostracizing and creating systems of apartheid where Black Jews are not part of what they're talking about when they talk about claiming land. So they've it's a racist political positioning, right? That's what Zionism is. So I'm anti-Zionist. I am not anti-Jew. I think that Judaism can be a really, really beautiful religion. Baba Kili, do you want to chime in here at all before we move on?
Just to remind people that Zionism is a nationalist movement that was developed in 1894, that emerged in the last 19th century to establish support for a Jewish homeland in Israel. It is a nationalist movement, not a religion. And many of the people, and one of the things that just with a little research, you'll find that most of the people who ultimately, prior to 1948, established Israel were considered terrorists themselves. Ben Gurion and there were three different political organizations, and he was a part of that. And so let's not allow the debate to be so directed that somehow or another, if you oppose a nationalist political organization or movement, which is Zionism, and conflate that with opposing Judaism.
That's right. So is Zionism is a colonial project. Zionism is colonialism. It is the cordoning off of Palestine. Even when the Balfour Declaration was issued in 1917, they said Palestine can be a homeland for Jews. So they recognized Palestine, that this is Palestine. And so it's really important that we understand that. When we come forward, we'll take more of your calls. And Baba Kili, I also want to hop into this terrible issuance of this order that Trump did this past week. You can call us at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. More to come.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report scams, and update your software. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information and fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your protection today with a 30-day free trial at lifelock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
BLM's This Is Not a Drill continues right now.
We like the breeze, float straight out of our lids. Them, they got booed by these hard rock Brooklyn kids. Us floor rush when they DJ booming classics. You dig the crew on the fattest hip-hop record. He tucks the kinks and sinks into the sounds. She frequents deep, fatter joints called undergrounds. Our funk zooms like you hit the Mary Jane. They flock to booms, man, Boogie had to change. Who freaks the clips with mad amount percussion? Where kinky hair goes to unthought of dimensions. Why's it so fly? Cause hip-hop kept some drama. When Butterfly rocked the light blue suede Pumas. What by the cut? We push it off the corner. How was the buzz entire hip-hop era? Was fresh in fact since they started saying Audi. Cause funk's made fat from right beneath my hood. The pooba of the styles like Miles and shit. Like 60s funky worms with waves and perms. Just sending junky rhythms right down your block. We beat to rap, what key beat to lock. But I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that.
I'm cool like that. Look, Simeon be going, and we're back. Your mic is hot, but I'm too busy listening to Diggable Planets. Don't play Diggable Planets and then say we back, Sim. I can't interrupt that flow. So this is not a drill. My name is Melina Abdullah, and I'm here with Baba Keely. We're walking through these headlines. We've been talking about the difference between Zionism and Judaism, and that we absolutely, look, we're in lots of fights. Zionists be mad, though. Zionists, if you say one little thing, and I want to put in context why they're coming for us, right? That the California Faculty Association, the union that I'm a part of, when we consider who we're going to endorse and contribute to, one of the new questions on our questionnaire is, do you accept money from big oil, tobacco, police associations, or entities like AIPAC. We want to know, do you accept money from these entities? We have a right to ask questions. Labor has a right, and as Chris Smalls lifted up, a duty to ask questions and take positions. But immediately upon asking that, and this is just part of our internal process, this isn't anything we publish, it's part of an internal process. What they did is run to the media and accuse us of being anti-Semitic. We are not anti-Semitic. I am anti-Zionist. And our union has become very, very vocal about our position around protecting life of Palestinians, protecting the lives of Palestinians in the midst of a genocide. We're taking your calls at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Baba Keely, we don't have a whole lot of time to hop into this, but you know that this week Trump actually signed. I didn't realize that this was new, because I remember when he issued the threat about a month ago, there was a threat issued that named Black Lives Matter and Antifa, which is really weird because Antifa is not even an organization like that, right? As he listed both of us as terrorist cells. And this week he signed this unconstitutional order that he said he would levy the quote unquote full weight of the federal government and the FBI upon us. What does that mean for us and for you as an organizer, as a Black organizer who understands the importance of transformation? And I kind of think that the Zionist thing and the Trump thing are connected when you look at these behaviors.
Very quickly, through repression, certainly growing up in the South and then, in the segregated South, and then becoming a part of the Black Power, Black Nationalist movement, and living through COINTELPRO. So I've seen this before. What I had, and being designated as an outsider, being designated as a communist, being designated as, a disruptor, all of those, now a terrorist, all of those titles are used by white supremacists in an effort to stop the progress of Black people and our demands for full inclusion in the society that we helped build. And so this is the first time it's been so open, so public, and so directed, like actually signing a memorandum that designates us. And I say designate us. Any Black organization that raises a question about inequality or injustice in the society falls into that category. We are being targeted because we've been around. We took a statement, Black Lives Matters, and turned it into a movement. And we have 52 chapters around the world. And so they see that, this administration sees that as a threat, because if you compare what really happening, they are taking from working people and redistributing wealth upwards, and so they have to redirect people. It's a classic bait and switch kind of look what's happening over here, when in fact what they're doing on the other side is the thing that they don't want you to look at. So designating us as as a terrorist organization is something that we are accustomed to.
When in actuality, Baba Keely, they are the terrorists, right? I'm sorry. This is terrorism when you unleash the National Guard. And when I was in Memphis, do you know they had IRS agents pulling people over? They had IRS agents functioning as cops. There were cops on every corner, cops in the restaurant we were at, National Guard in the restaurant we were at, carrying. Think about this. It's terrorism when you are in Black community with assault rifles. They are there specifically to terrorize our communities. So what they want to do is, what do they call that? Gaslighting, right? They doing it, but they pretending like that's you. No, you're the terrorist. No, you're actually the terrorist, Donald Trump. You're the terrorist, right? Zionists will say, oh, that was hate-filled. No, you're hate-filled. You're hate-filled when you don't want us to teach about babies in Palestine and say they have a right to life. You're the hate-filled one. So there's much more to talk about. We're going to talk about how we claim our victories, though, even in the midst of all these struggles. We got Paula Miner and Jan Williams joining us. Of course, you're welcome into the conversation at 800-920-1580. More to come right here on This Is Not a Drill.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier's attorney says his client is not a gambler and plans to fight the charges.
The Hornets were out of the playoffs. He's a veteran that's been there. He's like, why am I going to make this injury worse?
Rozier is accused of faking an injury and sharing insider info for bets. Louisiana lawmakers opened a special session to tweak election laws ahead of 2026. The move comes as the state awaits a Supreme Court ruling on its congressional map, which includes 2 majority black districts. Lawmakers are debating whether to delay closed primaries from April to May, a change backed by Republicans but opposed by Democrats.
Good morning,
at least 3
Mama
people
Paula.
are
Good
dead
morning,
and 5
Jan.
are injured in Haiti after Tropical Storm Melissa triggered landslides and falling trees. Officials warned the storm could strengthen into a Category 4 hurricane by Sunday.
Good morning.
Catastrophic flooding and landslides to Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the
Sister
iHeartRadio
Jan, you
app.
able to come on camera? Can you hear me?
Hard rock style is
think
coming
y'all
to the
can-
Central
girl,
Valley, just
I did
15
not
miles south of
get ready to
Bakersfield off
get
Route
on
99.
camera.
You'll find world-class
no.
food and entertainment.
You need me to
Less
get on
drive
camera?
time equals more
Yeah, 'cause we
play
put it
time.
up- we
The all-new
screen it.
Hard Rock Casino Tejon, opening November 13th.
Okay.
KBLA Talk 1580. We fight the power
Because I
every
just have
day.
my phone. I don't have my computer to set up the screen.
Okay, we're coming back in 30 seconds. You could stay on the phone until you get it together. That would be great. Okay.
I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, every time they show a sporting event, they got the
You look cute, Mama Paula. What you doing?
telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff.
It is so good to be on with both of you.
Yeah, we get it too, Chucky. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
We're coming back.
We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. This is not a drill. 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 This is real.
My name is Melina Abdullah, and this is Not a Drill right here on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm grateful to be in conversation with 2 of my favorite people, Mama Paula Miner. I call her Mama Paula. Y'all can't call her Mama Paula. I'll call her Mama Paula. You got to join the movement in order to get that privilege. But Paula Miner is a lifelong organizer. She's a phenomenal human being. She models for us how to walk and how to live. She's often our libation pourer. She's our spiritual grounder, and she leads the police accountability team for Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, most recently, which won the removal of Errol Southers from the Los Angeles Police Commission. He resigned a few weeks ago, although there's a terrible Zionist who's confirmed now to take his place. But Mama Paula has been leading that work for more than 10 years now. We're also joined by Sister Jan Williams. Jan Williams is a mother of 2. She is one of the funnest people I know, and also one of the quickest-witted, can we say that? Most quick-witted people that I know. So if you need a snappy slogan, who I go to is Jan Williams. Jan Williams be having the comebacks for you. Jan Williams is part of the education team and labor team for Black Lives Matter Los Angeles and was part of the historic Victory in LAUSD. She's now staff and organizing staff member with UTLA, United Teachers Los Angeles, and both serve on the core team, the decision-making body for Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. This whole conversation comes as a result of Baba Keeley's teaching that we have to celebrate our victories. We have to celebrate our victories, especially in the midst of struggle. And so I'd like to start with Baba Keeley to kind of ground us in that principle. Why do you believe, Baba Keeley, that it's important to celebrate our victories? Why do you teach us that?
Who help make it. What happens is we do the work, and we don't look and see the success. We don't look and see how this work has, the results of this work, and sometimes we miss that. And as a consequence, people say, "Well, what are they doing now?" And I was just reflecting on the past 2 weeks, past few weeks rather. Earl Suthers, Waukesha's Law, what happened in Torrance, and looking at all the work that went into making that happen. It didn't just happen. Waukesha's Law didn't just happen. Y'all talked about it last week. What happened in Torrance didn't just happen. Getting Earl Suthers out, asking people to sign that petition and make those phone calls, BSAP, all that didn't just happen. It's a result of hard work that people put in. We set some goals. We said these are our demands, and we fought for them. We engaged people, and we built. And so we need to take a minute and say, that's significant, that's important, and let's keep going.
Absolutely. I think we can become I don't know, dispirited, I guess is the word. I guess that's the word. When we're fighting, and don't recognize the wins. But as you're saying, Baba Akili, there are lots of wins. One of the things that I kind of puff my chest out on is we've never lost a buy campaign. And I think politicians recognize that. If we say buy Nate Hockman, which we do, you are going to go. We've said bye Jackie Lacey, and she went. We've said bye to now 2 chiefs of police, Charlie Beck, and then I can't even remember that fool's name. What was his name?
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore, right. I'm trying to blank him out of memory, right. And they're both gone. We said bye Kevin De Leon, and Kevin De Leon is gone. So we've never lost a buy campaign, and we have to celebrate those victories. We just said bye Errol Southerns, and now he tried to fight a little bit, but now he's gone. Mama Paula, that was you at the front of that fight. Can you talk about why we had to get rid of Errol Southerns and what that took to get rid of him?
Yes, of course. Good morning, everyone. And I think it's important that we share with the listeners. Some people may not understand what the LA Police Commission is. And I think it's important to understand that first as we talk about how we want to monitor which individuals sit on that commission. But the police commission consists of 5 members appointed by whoever is mayor at the time. And so when Mayor Bass took office, she had the opportunity to appoint commissioners. It's supposed to be a civilian body, and its role is oversight over the LA Police Department, and it's supposed to represent the interests, concerns of the community. So that puts it in a certain kind of category in the charter, but because these are people are political appointees, they don't often serve that same way. Their oversight tends to sometimes be just rubber stamping or agreeing with everything that LA police do. But in any case, with Errol Southerns, he was appointed in 2023 by Mayor Bass, and he had a 2-year appointment because each commissioner can serve for 5 years. And one of the commissioners had resigned. I forgot his name. He was also a black man. Errol Southerns is a black man. And there were 2 years remaining on his term. So Errol Southerns originally was appointed in 2023 for the end of a 2-year term, meaning that his reappointment, which had to go before the city council, came up in 2025, last spring. And one of the reasons we had concerns about Errol Southerns began when we realized in 2023 that he was going to be appointed. When he was appointed then, we realized that his connections were really not the kind of connections that we felt should be on the police commission. He started out as a police officer in the city of Santa Monica. There's some allegations and some kind of query about what his role was there. He helped develop a youth organization that eventually there was some evidence of violating the youth, and there were a couple of large lawsuits that were that impacted, that were sued against the city of Santa Monica, where they paid out a lot of money for the failure of that particular police organized youth group to protect young people. So that was one of his very beginnings. He left there, he went to work for the FBI, and back when President Obama was in office, because by this time he left Santa Monica, had been working for the FBI. He also had been training in Israel with the Israeli Defense Army, and he had written books. He became part of USC's policing staff, and at that point, people thought that he was an up and coming, knowledgeable person in the field of policing, but President Obama attempted to appoint him to Homeland Security, and he could not pass the approval because of some questionable activities on his part in terms of when he was at Santa Monica violating policing standards. So, he has a plus and a minus reputation. What we saw is mostly minus. And the reason that we saw it as mostly minus was, in addition to his studies, in addition to him going to Israel, he wrote a book. And in this book, he described what he called homegrown terrorists. And he was trying to become the expert on how to identify homegrown terrorists, particularly focusing on, the United States. At that time, I guess it was around shortly after the 9/11 event, he wanted to become an expert on, how can we prevent these kinds of things? How can we find out what kind of people are going to participate? So he wrote this book. And one of the, I guess, kind of negatively outstanding parts of the book is that he described you can identify a homegrown terrorist if it is an adult who converted to the Muslim religion as an adult. He made these assumptions about who will be a terrorist based on what they look like, what their religion was. And it was a very, very negative, but a lot of people at that time really wanted to jump on it and really publicize what he was doing. In any case, we come back down to 2023. When Karen Bass appointed him, we immediately started a petition. The petition said, remove Errol Southers from the LA Police Commission. We felt that he did not represent the kind of person we wanted to serve as a public voice. We felt instead he was a voice of the police, and he was a voice of repressing policing. He was a person who was concerned about terrorists, a person who was concerned about how to identify, how to stereotype people potentially who might do harm. And, without any real strong, valid information, nothing to really back up what he said. So we started that petition. Of course, he ended up getting on the commission in 2023. We continued the petition for 2 years. And when his name came up this summer to be reappointed for another 5-year term, we were able to share information with members of the city council and members of the public, because I think it's important to remember the information has to be shared with the public as well as with politicians. That's what we try to do. I think in the introduction, it was mentioned that I've been trying to head up the police accountability team. And that's one of the things that our police accountability team tries to do is share information, not just tell the commission, tell the politicians, but let the public know this is what is going on. This is what is happening in your community, and this is what is happening with your taxpayer money. So in any case, we managed to convince some of the politicians who were supposed to review his application for reappointment, and they decided not to vote for him. Actually, there were 2 separate meetings of these politicians where his name came up. Finally, because of the information shared, because of some of the activities too, I haven't gone into all of his activities, but some of his activities as USC, he is on the staff of USC. He's one of their policing and what is the word? It'll come to me in a minute. But he's one of their policing, safety and risk assurance staff, and also he teaches a class at USC. But
right. And just very quickly before we move forward, we know that he's also responsible for, there was an uproar
right
over the blocking of a Muslim valedictorian named Asna Tabassum. That was Errol Southers that blocked her. There was a uproar over the cancellation of graduation, and the whole graduation ceremony was canceled in 2024.
Yes.
That was the decision of Errol Southers. There was an uproar about the use of LAPD on campus against protesters and demonstrators who wanted to say that the people of Palestine deserve their lives, free Palestine. And the calling in of LAPD was the call of Errol Southers. We'll have more about how Errol Southers finally, after this whole process, decided supposedly to step down with Paula Miner. She'll talk about that. And then, of course, we'll bring Jan Williams into the conversation to talk about victories in the LAUSD. Much more to come. You're welcome into the conversation at 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. This is not a drill.
This is not a drill. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Donald Trump has all but declared war on California, sending in the
Was
National
that
Guard,
enough?
blocking disaster relief, and cutting funds to
That
our
was
colleges.
great. You're always
And now,
so
he and Texas
informative.
Republicans are trying to rig
So
the next election
informative.
by
Thank
stealing
you.
congressional seats from black voters in states like Texas.
They want to rig these elections, and they want the power that gerrymandering provides.
Seriously, look it up. But Prop 50 is how we fight back. It gives Californians the power to fight fire with fire and beat Trump at his own game. Prop 50 creates temporary emergency congressional maps that level the playing field and protect the power of black votes. Not just in California, but across the country. Your vote matters, and the whole country is counting on California to lead. So use your vote to protect our power, our history, and our future. Vote yes on Prop 50 by November 4th. Ad paid for by Yes on 50, the Election Rigging Response Act, Governor Newsom's Ballot Measure Committee, Ad Committee's top funders, HMP for Prop 50.
There she is. Hi, Sister Jan.
Stinky clothes.
I'm trying. I can't. My phone is also dead, so it has to charge.
It's what?
My phone is dead. So it has to... Am I sideways? If I do this?
You're sideways. There we go.
Just one wash, guaranteed.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Save no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back to BLM's This Is Not a Drill, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
And you're listening to This Is Not a Drill right here on KBLA Talk 1580. My name is Melina Abdullah, and we are talking about Baba Keely's teaching of claiming our victories, especially in the midst of struggle. Recently, and you've been hearing us talk for months and years even, about how terrible, absolutely terrible Los Angeles Police Commissioner Errol Southers is, and we've been calling people to action. Many of you have taken that action. So thank you for all of your calls, all of your petition signatures, all of you who showed up at police commission meetings to say Errol Southers must go. Well, Errol Southers got gone. So that's a tremendous victory. Paula Miner, who leads the police accountability team for Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, was sharing with us that the Los Angeles Police Commission is not meant to be an extension of the LAPD. It's meant to be an oversight body. And she outlined why Errol Southers is somebody who was trained by the Israeli occupation forces. Errol Southers is someone who has deemed people like me, people who reverted to Islam as homegrown terrorists, right, are hugely problematic, and why he had to be run out. Mama Paula, I do want you to lift up and kind of talk about, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at this guy Galpin, who apparently is the replacement, who seems to be almost worse. So Galpin Ford, we should boycott Galpin Ford. When you hit people in their pockets, sometimes they get some get right? But Ron Galpin is the person who was identified by Karen Bass to be placed. Is he Southers' replacement on the board?
We have to have 5 members. It was not clear because I think she began kind of lifting his name before Southers finally resigned. So, yeah, it's not clear. There still will be a vacancy on the board. But when we talk about Galpin, I mean, to me, it's just amazing. We're supposed to be getting oversight. One of the things when I read the article about his appointment, it said he is very friendly with Chief McDonald. That chief, he and his family have, I guess, numerous, they have an auto dealership in the valley, and then they have numerous land holdings, and they have this kind of automotive museum in the valley with old cars, and evidently Chief McDonald went out there to that particular automotive museum and hosted an event, kind of a meet and greet, so that people who wanted to come and see the classic cars, classic cars, could meet the chief of police. This situation was set up by this man who is now going to be appointed to the police commission and was approved by the city council last week. And so what it lets us know is that unfortunately, the members of our commission are not being appointed for oversight. They are being appointed for political connections. And it really, really destroys the function and really destroys their ability to support the community and really to fulfill their definition in the city charter. it's not supposed to be about your political connections. It's supposed to be about police oversight and serving the community. So that particular appointment um, just occurred, and there still is a vacancy. So right now there are only 4 commissioners, and the the panel should have 5 members. So yeah, that's amazing.
I also will be very curious to see, because Galpin is rich, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
I'd be
yes.
very curious to see what those campaign contributions look like to the mayoral campaign.
Right, right.
Very curious to see. Very curious to see. Because
Yeah.
as you mentioned, Galpin is also a LAPD stan. He's a fan of the police. Him and Errol Southers are both police fans, right? That shouldn't be who's overseeing the police, right? We shouldn't have fans overseeing the police. They're supposed to be holding them accountable, not being fans of them. But I guess it points to Angela Davis's teaching that freedom is a constant struggle, and in order to constantly struggle, we got to continue to fight. Sister Jan, you've been one of the people leading the fight inside the schools, and we know that we've won some things inside LAUSD schools, especially the Black Student Achievement Plan, which, as you know, if I talk about it too long, I'll start to tear up, because my children, especially my middle child, has benefited tremendously from the Black Student Achievement Plan. She's now a straight A student, if this one professor acts right, a straight A student at Clark Atlanta University. But at the time we were struggling for the Black Student Achievement Plan, had been one of the young people who had police called on her in schools over and over and over and over again. So, Sister Jan, we've won some things inside the schools. What can you outline for us?
So thanks for the invitation to talk about what I always call my heart project. I love what we were able to accomplish and are still building with the Black Student Achievement Program. So I want to bring it back, though, to I would call it like the origin when BLMLA started building our labor committee. One of the first partners we made was with United Teachers of Los Angeles. And they had started working on a racial justice committee. And so, I started meeting on as part of that committee. And then in 2015, 2016, we launched Making Black Lives Matter in our schools right here in the city of Los Angeles. And by right, Amara benefited from that Black Student Achievement Program, because remember, it was your child, Tandiwe, my child, Aaron, who were on that panel, the first panel that they did, where they talked to students to see what does that mean, making Black Lives Matter in our schools. And what came out of that discussion was that students were being pulled from class and having their bodies and their beings violated, right? They were, it was pretty much stop and frisk inside our classrooms, which was really only impacting Black students. It was a policy that was only being enforced at schools that had a high population of Black students. And so that then launched our campaign to end random searches. And that was back in 2016. That was something that was long fought. It took a lot of meetings with back then Superintendent Buechner. They did a little dog and pony show where they were going to all of these different communities to hear from them what they felt about it. And anyway, we won that in 2019 because at UTLA put ending that policy in their platform. And so when they went out on strike, that was one of the demands. They wanted to end the random searches. That happened in 2019. We also wanted to ban the use of pepper spray. police were on campuses using pepper spray to break up fights at our schools. And pepper spray, is not even allowed to be used on students that were incarcerated. So that was one of the other things. And then fast forward to 2020.
And I want to pick up on the Black Student Achievement Program when we come forward. So we had two major victories.
Yes.
And then we started talking about how we build. And Jan, you were one of the visionaries behind that. More on that with Jan Williams when we come forward. You're invited into the conversation at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580.
This is not a drill. Up next, we got a lot to talk about.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier's attorney says his client is not a gambler and plans to fight the charges.
The Hornets are out of the playoffs. He's a veteran that's been there. He's like, why am I going to make this injury worse?
Rozier is accused of faking an injury and sharing insider info for bets. Louisiana lawmakers opened a special session to tweak election laws ahead of 2026. The move comes as the state awaits a Supreme Court ruling on its congressional map, which includes 2 majority black districts. Lawmakers are debating whether to delay closed primaries from April to May, a change backed by Republicans but opposed by Democrats. And at least 3 people are dead and 5 are injured in Haiti after Tropical Storm Melissa triggered landslides and falling trees. Officials warned the storm could strengthen into a Category 4 hurricane by Sunday, bringing catastrophic flooding and landslides to Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Hard rock style is coming to the Central Valley, just 15 miles south of Bakersfield off Route 99. You'll find world-class gaming and entertainment. Less drive time equals more playtime. The all-new Hard Rock Casino Tejon, opening November 13th.
Yeah, yo, come on. Here come the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. On Thursday evening, November 6th, you're invited to the next KBLA Talk 1580 Altadena Town Hall meeting. This time we're convening at Victory Bible Church, 1497 North Hill Avenue in Pasadena. The town hall will once again be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580 from 4 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, November 6th. But you're invited to join us in person for this urgent and necessary community conversation. The theme for this Altadena Eaton Canyon Fire Town Hall is Understanding the Wildfire Recovery Compensation Fund. The primary focus of this gathering is to inform residents about Southern California Edison's newly launched Wildfire Recovery Compensation Program and provide clarity on eligibility and the claims process. There are plenty of questions to be asked, and only KBLA Talk 1580 has the right moderators to ask the tough questions, the right stakeholders and community activists to share their insights, and we have confirmed the participation of corporate executives from Southern California Edison to answer our queries. So be sure to join us at Victory Bible Church in Pasadena, 1497 North Hill Avenue on Thursday, November 6th. The event is free and open to the public, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. Light refreshments will be served immediately following the live town hall. This KBLA Talk 1580 Altadena Rising Town Hall is brought to you by the Black Freedom Fund.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at WalkGoodLA. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
BLM's This Is Not a Drill continues right now.
I've been so many places in my life and time. I've sung a lot of songs, and I made some bad rhymes. I've acted out my life on stages with 10,000 people watching, but we were alone now, and I was singing a song to you. I know your image of me is
Who is this remake? I keep asking, who is that? I can't read that. Avery Wilson. Okay. I love the Donny Hathaway's always the best, but okay, I like that remake. I wonder if he's on the piano too. Anyway, thank you for that, Simeon. You're fire on the song selection today. You've been but actually, you need to make us a playlist because you've been fired for the last several months. I've been going, I don't even want to come back in on the air because Simeon's song selections are phenomenal. But I do want to get back to this conversation with Jan Williams. My name is Melina Abdullah. I guess I should say that. We're on with This Is Not a Drill. And we're talking about victories in the midst of struggle. And one of the victories has been the work that's being done inside the schools. So Jan Williams, who's been one of the leaders on that team, and she gave us some of the history of that. We walked us through that. First, we won the end of random searches in schools. Then we won the banning of pepper spray in school. And then finally, the big thing was defunding school police and winning. What are we up to now? $175 million annual investment in the Black Student Achievement Program. Can you talk about that, Sister Jam? What is the Black Student Achievement Plan and how does it function inside LAUSD schools?
Well, the first part I want to do is name that the Black Student Achievement Program is a program that was developed with the voices of our students at the center, the voices of our families at the center, and supported by community partners as well as labor partners. We had town halls, we organized parents and families to hear what does it mean? What are you missing from your schools, right? And that's where we heard that number one, they want police off campus, right? My son's experience in school at lunchtime, police were literally walking around the campus with their hands on their hips, which is where their guns are holstered, right? That is not a welcoming feeling at a high school campus. They wanted police removed from campuses. Police were stationed, again, at schools that had mostly Black students and at some high schools. And so that was the first thing. They wanted to see counselors. They wanted more counselors. They wanted more psychiatric social workers, more academic freedom, more Black-centered studies in their classrooms. And those are some of the programs that we've been able to implement. One of the things that we're also able to do is take kids not just to the conference center once a year on, what do they call it, the Black College Expo. Our students are actually going to colleges. We started with just going to Atlanta. Now they're visiting the HBCUs throughout the country. So that's, and that itself has made an impact. When you talk about Amara's experience, that was one of the pivotal things that turned Amara around, right? When she actually went to the campus. So, our students are receiving resources directly invested into them. And so we have counselors on campus that are there just to support our Black students. And they have what they call an individualized Black student success plan, so that each student is able to meet with a counselor at least 3 times a year to set their goals for the beginning of the year, and then do a couple check-ins throughout the school year. We have, they're called attendance counselors, basically, that if we have students that have chronic absenteeism, right, they're able to focus on that population of students to meet the needs of whatever is happening that's preventing them from coming to school regularly. So that's some of the stuff that the Black student had, BSAP, they call it BSAP for short, does. And we're coming up on 5 years. February 21st will be 5 years in the implementation of the program. And already we have seen that Black students' graduation rates have, the percentage has increased faster than any other demographic since the implementation of that program, as well as more Black students are getting accepted into college.
Yeah, I mean, when I say, if I talk too long, I'll start crying. I will. Like my children their lives have been transformed. You remember Sister Jan, when Amara was being targeted in the school, she had one teacher who called the police on her as a 6th grader 8 times in a single semester. And you remember my frustration. I said, she's coming out that man's class. I don't give a damn if she don't do nothing but sit in the office all period, but she's not going back in that man's classroom. And the school wasn't equipped to handle it. They did accommodate her sitting in the office, but that's a terrible way to treat an 11-year-old, right? And she went from that to, again, living in her fullest self. It's homecoming weekend now at Clark, living in her fullest self because of, when you talk about the Black College Tour, toured the Black colleges, got on-site acceptance to First Southern, and then transferred to Clark. And sometimes we do things because we believe in them, but sometimes there are things that are more than just what you believe in with your head. It's what you can feel with your heart. And your son is also doing phenomenal things, a budding firefighter, and we're so excited about how policy and new ways of doing things can actually and do actually affect the real lives of our people. And so,
yeah,
when we come forward, I would love to talk about Baba Keely. I want to invite you back into the conversation because people don't traditionally think of these kinds of things as what we do as Black Lives Matter. They think that what we do is go and cuss out the police. And we do that too.
We do that
I
too.
love doing that. That's one of my favorite things to do. Right?
Cuss when necessary.
we go and cuss out the police, and we protest on front lines, but we also do things like transform our schools and make sure that oversight bodies are the things we need them to be. So Baba Keely, I'd love for you to frame that a bit for us when we come forward. You're invited into the conversation. Our phone number is 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. More to come on This Is Not a Drill.
Not a drill. Up next, we've got a lot to talk about.
Donald Trump has all but declared war
One
on
of the
California,
other things
sending
I
in the
wanted
National
to,
Guard, blocking disaster relief, and cutting funds to
name
our
is
colleges.
that
And now, he and
what we're
Texas
trying to
Republicans
do
are trying to
moving
rig the
forward
next
too
election
is
by stealing
recruit
congressional seats
more
from black
black,
voters in states like Texas.
They want to rig these elections
into
and they want the power that gerrymandering
LAUSD,
provides.
because currently
Seriously,
we only
look it
have
up.
9%
But Prop 50
of
is
black
how we
educators
fight back.
in
It gives
LAUSD.
Californians the power to
So
fight
that's,
fire with fire
some other
and
work.
beat Trump at his own game. Prop 50 creates temporary emergency congressional maps that level the playing field and protect the power of black votes. Not just in California, but across the country. Your vote matters, and the whole country is counting on California to lead. So use your vote to protect our power, our history, and our future. Vote yes on Prop 50 by November 4. Ad paid for by Yes on 50, the Election Rigging Response Act, Governor Newsom's Ballot Measure Committee, Ad Committee's top funders, HMP for Prop 50, and Fund for Policy Reform.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to BLM's This Is Not a Drill. Now, back to the conversation.
It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
Broken glass everywhere. No, I shouldn't start rapping, right? Do you know I used to rap in middle school?
Okay, we got to do a battle one day.
This is not a drill on KBLA Talk 1580. We are moving forward with this conversation about claiming our victories. And Baba Keely, I asked you to kind of frame some of the things that we're talking about with Paula Miner, talking about victories inside the with our police accountability team and inside the police commission with the removal of Errol Southers, or abrupt resignation of Errol Southers, untimely resignation. It didn't make sense at all because his term was up and then he fought for a reappointment. And before he came to anything as a newly reappointed commissioner, he resigned, which is really, really weird. So I put $1. I got $1 to bet he's going to be in the middle of some kind of scandal because it didn't make any sense. And then Jan Williams talking about victories in the schools and the Black Student Achievement Program, as well as some of the other fights. Baba Keely, you were going to frame what these victories mean for us.
And I wanted to also give a shout out to our core team member, Joseph Williams, who has been on the front lines with Students Deserve, making sure that that all of those successes and victories were made real. But as I looked at what was happening both nationally and the fascism that was going on, but I also began to look at what's happening in our own lives, what's happening with our children, what's happening with the Oversight Commission that we've invested a lot of time, energy, and resource in, and we were winning. And one of the things that we got to say is that we are winning, that we are standing up, fighting back. And our overall mission and focus is to end state-sanctioned violence in all its forms, social, political, and economic. And if you look at what's happening here, too often, like I said, people question, well, what's Black Lives Matter doing now? Where are y'all at now? Y'all used to have 10,000 people in the street. Now you can't get, that kind of thing. And we have to be the ones that first tell our story and our successes. 2, understand what those successes mean. And then 3, build on them so that we can get to ultimately ending state-sanctioned violence. And so if you look at what's happening at the police commission, what's happening with our students, we are winning. Yes, there's a fascist and white supremacist in the president's office, but on the ground here in Los Angeles, we are doing things that impact Black people. Once again, I want to remind people about Waukesha's Law. I also want to remind people about what happened in Torrance and connect that to all the successes. Part of the way you build success is you recognize the success that you've already have. And then you connect to it and you build on more of them. And so I always want to talk about them. I always want to celebrate them. I always want to make sure that first, the people who do the work are acknowledged. Second, that they are thanked. And then finally, that we express our the support and say, this is how we are winning. And so I wanted to do that. And I also wanted to make sure that, Mama Paula, you have a correction you wanted to make.
You're on mute, Mama Paula.
Ooh. Can you hear me now?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. I just very, very quickly wanted to correct the name of that newly appointed commissioner. Although he is the vice president at Galpin Ford, his name is Jeffrey Scobin, Skobin.
Oh, that's right. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's kind of important for just to let our audience know to track these people. There are 4 people on that commission. It meets every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. in downtown LA. And if people can attend or if people can call in, it's very important to stay on top of that commission. So I just wanted to make sure we got the correct name out.
Thank you so much. It's Jeff Scobin, who works at Galpin Ford. He's a vice president at Galpin Ford.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you so much. And if you want to go somewhere and cuss people out, the police commission is a great place to do that. There's a public comment period where you can speak for, 3 minutes we got?
Yes, 3 minutes.
Yes. So you can tell them why they're so terrible. It actually does. It's helpful. It's helpful to go and offer public comment. Baba Keely, kind of the last point we were making is oftentimes when people think of Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, they think of people who are protesting and yelling and cussing people out. And we do all of those things unashamedly, unabashedly. I am a cusser outer. I love cussing out. I felt really affirmed yesterday because, my mother always says that me cussing is the thing that causes her the most stress in her whole life. Right. And we had Delonte, we were there with our brother Delonte Golston, Pastor Delonte Golston, And as I was talking with him about, like, oh, let me try not to cuss in case my mama sees me, he said, Jesus cussed people out. And I was like, what? And he pointed to a point in the Bible, and he was like, those words Jesus was saying were curse words at the time. So you keep cussing people out. As long as you do it righteously, you keep cussing people out. So we are cusser outers, but we're also policy writers. We're also educators. We're also, you know, people who demand accountability. And so, Baba Akili, can you talk about that just very quickly, about the importance of moving in multiple different ways and using different tools?
One of the things that yes, that we're committed to making transformative change, and that means it takes time. It means three things: first, having a demand; second, being willing to challenge; third, being willing to confront; and being willing to disrupt. And so we have done that, and as a result, you can see what has come from that. Waukesha's law, the SB2, which decertifies police. The fact that the appointee Earl Suthers, they ran from us. When they had public meetings, they had them at times where we couldn't be there. They thought we couldn't be there. That's the kind of change that we have fought for. And too often, I think we see these Martin Luther King speeches and that kind of thing, and we think that's what the struggle is. No, the struggle is the day-to-day, constant engaging and demanding substantive, transformative change. It's not what you see all the time. I mean, I often think about the 381 days that the Montgomery bus boycott took. And people, days, every day. That took that kind of consistency and regularity, and it made a significant change. And so what Mama Paula is talking about, and what Jan has categorized for us, and what you all talked about last week, is that kind of consistent, regular, this is what we believe, this is what we want to see, and this will make our communities better. That doesn't happen.
And I think as we wrap up, it's really important that we think about it in the context of state repression, of them calling Black Lives Matter a terrorist organization, right? It's really important that we understand what it is we're doing and why we have to push forward, why we have to fight against a regime that seeks to build $300 million ballrooms at the same time as they are canceling SNAP benefits. So they're literally saying people can starve, but we gonna have this ballroom at the White House. That's what they're saying. So how do we fight? And so the last thing that I'll say is that when you talk about the Montgomery bus boycott, as well as the range of ways Black people have engaged in transformation and people of conscience have engaged in transformation, the Montgomery bus boycott needed people who would drive people who lived too far to walk or worked too far to walk. And so you had people who made the Montgomery bus boycott go because they got in their cars and said, we will drive the carpool, right? It worked because some people brought food, right? That's how things work, right? All the tools in your toolbox might mean you're a great cusser outer or a legal defense, but it might mean that you're the person who has access to a copy machine. We need copies. We don't have no money. If you got access to a copy machine, we need those things, right? And so I think it's really important, and it lends insight to the chant that we always offer, that when we fight, we win. We just have a couple of minutes. How do people stay on top of this work, Jan Williams?
Follow on social media, LA_students deserve, LA_students deserve. Whenever there are calls to action around police free LAUSD or the Black Student Achievement Program, you'll find it on that.
Yes. Students Deserve has been pivotal. Thank you to our brother Joseph Williams and all the young people at Students Deserve. Mama Paula, you said people should show up at police commission meeting on Tuesdays.
Yes, absolutely. Tuesday mornings, downtown LA. Unfortunately, in police headquarters, it's 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday, which is not really accessible, but people can show up and also write the police commission.
That's right.
At this time is not accessible. Make demands.
That's right. And we look forward to seeing you at the Left Coast Forum. Baba Keely's on his way over to Trade Tech right now. We hope to see you there. Until next week, my name is Melina Abdullah. You can follow me at Doc Melly Mel or follow BLM Grassroots on all social media. Until next week, peace out, y'all.